would you then on your Facebook, saying this is a nonprofit, et cetera, on our Facebook page, would we then, which we haven't done before, put up something like, hey, we're having a fundraiser?
Yeah.
Just let, I mean, that's legitimate enough to do on your Facebook page?
Well, I think especially if you can be creative with how you're doing your fundraiser. I mean, for example, I'm getting ready to promote the heck out of this. We're doing a fundraiser. We have Chick Corea coming in. And before he comes in, we know the show's going to do really well.
Right.
We're doing a fundraiser dinner in association with it that's going to benefit our jazz education programs. So what I'm going to do in our social media is basically act like it's an exclusive kind of event. What I let our social, we have to be careful because we have members, we have donors, we have just ticket holders, we rate them at kind of different levels with how they find out news. So we have an e-newsletter, so sometimes we let them find out first. Sometimes we let our friends on Facebook and Twitter find out first. So we kind of give them like a wink, like, hey, this is coming up, you want to be a part of it? And again, whether this is directly relating to fundraising, I don't know, but at least they're getting the message first. So before we do our annual direct mail campaign, I'll put it up on Facebook too. So just mixing those messages I found in as many ways as you can, cross-promoting. You put something on Facebook. We actually have our Facebook linked to our Twitter. It's what I call the cheater's way to do Twitter.
Yeah, that's how ours is.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have a lot of time to be involved with everything, but it's allowing us to do that. So we can cross-promote then our Twitter and our Facebook and our e-newsletter. And our e-newsletter's on our website. And our website's being promoted through our press releases and our ads. And we just try to throw everything that, just make it intertwined as possible.
How do you do your e-newsletter?
We use Constant Contact.
Constant Contact.
Constant Contact.
Because we don't, we use Ground Spring for online donations, et cetera, and they had something about, something to do with e-newsletter, but then we would have to pay X number of dollars, and of course we never had any money.
What we use online for fundraising, the software that we use for our ticketing and fundraising is much different than what we use elsewhere.
Right.
It's very expensive, our fundraising software.
Right.
So Constant Contact, I think we pay less than $50 a month.
So that's constantcontact.com.
Right. Yep. It's based on the number of people you have in your database. So if you have a relatively small database, I mean, you can do it for really inexpensive. And the great thing for you guys, I mean, this is kind of what I do. I love working with small nonprofits because there's so many tools out there that really serve you. If you use Constant Contact, I'm sure you have no money for research and you're really grasping at who your people are. Constant Contact is a great and fairly inexpensive way because you can track every link that you put in your e-newsletter. You can see who opens it, what they're linking to from there, if they're going back to your web page. I mean, it's really fascinating. I have no money for research where I work right now. I can give you another website before we leave here, actually, that I got from when I worked in PBS, that you could do by zip code. It kind of gives you a picture of who your folks are. But I have no money for research, and I have no idea what our fans like. So when they sign up for our e-newsletter, I ask them, pick your genres of music that you like. You could ask, what day part do you listen to? There's lots of different things that you can do when they sign up, and then track that through all the clicks that they do.
Right.
So that would be a huge tool for you, not just in terms of messaging, but also research.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Sure.
Another option, and I'll go ahead and say that a nonprofit I work with in Chapel Hill uses Constant Contact. There's one I work with in Raleigh that uses Eye Contact, which Eye Contact is kind of a homegrown version.
E-Y-E or I?
I.
Letter
Letter I Contact.
Okay.
It's done by a UNC graduate, Ryan Alice, company he started, and very similar to Constant Contact, very easy to use. And the one thing I don't know is how good a deal they cut nonprofits. But firsthand, I have more knowledge of Constant Contact. But I mean, those are just another option.
Yeah, there are a lot of similar Constant Contacts out there. It just depends on what works best for your organization.
And another option, I'll be glad to talk with you after this is all over, are some open source options that folks aren't always aware of. And I'm doing work now with a new cooperative focused on empowering nonprofits through open source. They might not otherwise know about.
Is it kind of a brand-specific CRM, or is it?
Can utilize city CRM, but this is across the totality of open source work. So I'd be glad to talk with you.
Do you have a
Yeah.
Do you have a business card? Or okay.
I've got one in, Ernest got one in his pocket.
Okay, great. I'll send you this link. PBS did this documentary probably about 10 years ago called People Like Us.
Give my email.
And it was a fascinating documentary, and it talks about, there you go. It talks about different social groups and things like that. And then through that website, what you can do is you can type in a zip code, and it'll give you very general psychographics and I think some just very basic information about a zip code. And it's been really helpful to me, absence of any real research, to be able to use that and check out a zip code. I mean, it will say things like, these people are most likely to subscribe to Newsweek or Vogue, or, it'll say they'll use their indisposable income on NASCAR. I mean, it's very vague, and it only gives you like 5 things in a variety of categories. But it's a good way to kind of get a feel for a zip code.